So the workshop is about the sovereign key. The sovereign key is literally, looks like any other USB that you have. But what happens with the sovereign key is you plug this into any computer, like a computer like this. You can even take out the hard drive, and it runs off of the RAM of the computer because the operating system you're booting off of is Tails. And Tails only runs off of the RAM of a computer. So, but this one comes with a couple of other additions. So the reason that we wanted to create the sovereign key is in the name. How do we make using computing completely sovereign, but not just for Bitcoiners, but also for school kids? So what we were saying is every 2 to 3 years, what people do is they donate computers to schools. And they say, I'll do 500 computers or 20 computers, whatever. But every 2 to 3 years, those computers need to be upgraded, or new computers need to be bought, or computers were stolen from the school, whatever the case may be. It is a big expense for those of the people that are actually donating those computers. Now, if I'm let's say I live in a kasi, and I walk around with this backpack, what is the first thing that people that steal think? There's a laptop in it. Let's rob him, right? But if I'm walking around with this in my pocket, and it's got all of my data, everything is stored on here, how do you're not seeing it. So you're not seeing me walk around with a backpack. That factor has already been removed. So the actual reason I created these were for school kids. Because again, this changes any computer that you plug it into your computer. You're using the operating system from this drive. The awesome thing about Tails is an amnesiastic system, right? Which means that once you take it out of the computer has no record of what you did on it. Tails doesn't run on the hard drive. You can take the hard drive out of the computer and still run Tails because it only runs off of the RAM on the computer. So everything you're doing is in conjunction from the operating system on here and what is stored in here, and your computer's RAM. Nothing else knows what you're doing. Now, why did we choose Tails? 2 reasons. One, Tails is an operating system used by people like Edward Snowden, right? So journalists use Tails. People in authoritarian governments, they use Tails. It is literally a way, Human Rights Foundation people, like all of these people use Tails because of its ability to work in a privacy-focused manner, right? And at the same time, give you free and open source tools that come with Tails. So you don't have to go downloading everything over a ClearNet connection and all that. Second, is because it allows us to do a persistent storage. So Tails has 2 parts. You can actually, and I'll show it to you just now, but you can literally put down a password and then install whatever you want on the persistent storage. So if you get a hold of my USB, you get a hold of my sovereign key, you plug it in, you boot in, and then you try to access it. You can use just normal Tails, amnesiastically, but you'd need the password to be able to get into my persistent storage. So what do we put in the persistent storage? Well, it comes with a pruned Bitcoin node on your sovereign key. And why would we give you a pruned Bitcoin node? Because there's 3 different Bitcoin wallets on here. One comes with Tails, which is Electrum. The second one is Bales, which is literally stands for Bitcoin on Tails. It was done by a man named Ben Westgate. Bales uses Codex 32, which is a different scheme of breaking up your seed phrase, and it's got a lot of other things. Not many people will use Bales. That's more for hardcore Bitcoiners. But what I decided to throw on there was my favorite Bitcoin wallet, which was created by a South African named Craig Raw, and that is Sparrow Wallet. Now, because you have Sparrow Wallet on here, this allows you to literally plug this in, right? The Sparrow Wallet that you have on here is using the pruned node that is also on here. Okay, so everything is within the conjunction of the sovereign key. And then you can use things like, because again, Tails allows you to use the other USBs on the computer. So now you can plug in things like your Trezor wallet, your seed signer, and then utilize it in conjunction with your sovereign key instead of having to do it with this whole computer. But the beauty of that is I could go to his computer and I can plug it in there. I can go to that computer that's standing over there and I can do it over there. The only laptops that you cannot use the sovereign key on, or any Tails-based system on, is Mac, especially the M1 Macs. So Apple has this thing where they like to not share. Okay, you can still use them on Intel Macs, going back as far as 2015. But let me stop there and just rewind a bit. So why did we create the sovereign key? The sovereign key wasn't created for Bitcoiners. It was actually created for students. Right? School students to be able to say, hey, if I can find a library I have a computer because I have a sovereign key. If I can go to the teacher's house and use their computer, I can use it without them even knowing what I was doing on my sovereign key. If I can go to, again, if you are, and I knew a couple of people in Namibia that owned internet cafes, and then everybody got internet on their phones, and nobody went into internet cafes anymore. Those computers still exist, right? The spaces could still be utilized and revitalized by kids being able to say, but I need a computer, let me just go in and plug in and then utilize. So you can literally rejuvenate a lot of hardware. This laptop is from 2014. This thing is dying, literally, right? If I switch it on without the sovereign key, look, it's dying. It's broken all over. So when you use it without the sovereign key, it doesn't really boot up, right? It tells you there's a problem with the system. But what you do is, most laptops and most computers, their booting key is F12. So there it's telling you Dell, but you tap F12, tap it a few times, it takes you into the boot menu. Now, I wanted to show you this here, but it's not going all the way up. It will once we're inside the sovereign key. And you get options. And your options will tell you, do you want to boot from your internal hard drive, a CD-ROM, or what would you like to boot from? Your option you would choose, and this is for anything that you boot from a USB, not just the sovereign key, but if you're using a Debian live USB, you would do the same process. So you boot from your USB storage. Now it's forgone any of the hard drive stuff on here. It's now using what's on the sovereign key and the RAM to run that. So the only memory that you're using on this computer is the RAM of this computer. You're not at all. Again, this is why I was saying I should have met you guys earlier so we could have taken out the hard drive. Actually, no, let's not do it now. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. No. Please ask questions as we go along.
So basically, you're parasitising the keyboard and the screen.
Yeah, correct.
And the sovereign key is basically
That is the hard drive of the computer now. Correct. So everything in even your Wi-Fi and everything you can still use from the computer. But what you're taking out here is the ability for the hard drive to know anything that you're doing and store what you're doing. So if there's a keylogger on this computer, it's not going to be able to work with the sovereign key. It's not going to be able to capture that because we're not using that at all. Nothing that is installed on would be utilized. Any other questions? Yes, sorry. Sorry, just you have a work laptop? If you can boot it, what laptop is it? It's not a Mac. Then you can boot it. Then almost you can put this into motherboards, not even just computers, and you can still boot from it. You can put it into servers, literally, and boot from it. So yes. Yeah, that is, and that, it does happen, but wow. That's a company laptop. Company laptops, especially if you're working in an industry where there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Privileged details, like things that you're not supposed to be able to move forward. They would definitely lock down your laptops. Well, most laptops is F12. We actually, yes, sir. Okay, so we actually, on the README file, so there is a GitHub where all this information for the sovereign key is up, and on that README file, we literally have a section that gives you all, I'm talking about Acer computers, everything, and it tells you what's the boot button on all of these. So, but for most computers, almost all of them, F12 will work. Yes, sir. No. This is an interactive session. I love it. You see, like he's got his own one. Eh? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Correct. So what he's saying right here is, it's not that there would be a trace on the computer of what you're doing, but your IT department knows that you're doing something that you weren't supposed to be doing with that laptop because you are within the building, right? You're literally on their network, and they can be like, what is happening there? That's not normal behavior from that client. Again, I don't know how your IT department has set up your work computers. So this is not something that I would say just willy-nilly plug into your work computer, because it's not that they know what you're doing, but they're knowing you're doing something that that they can't see. So now they're going to be like, what were you doing? You know? So it's also about just making sure for your own sanity and for your own safety that you also utilize your sovereign key in a way that doesn't implicate you at work. You know, like they're gonna be like, were you watching porn or what? Why can't we see what you're doing? Like, what are you doing? So don't put yourself in a situation that you don't need to be in, you know. And again, yeah, sorry.
How does the pruned node stay updated? I've never
Awesome.
used a pruned node.
Okay, I'm gonna show you. Instead of telling you, I'm gonna show you how that works. So, okay, so again, if you were to go here and just say start tails, there'd be no pruned node that you have access to, that you wouldn't have access to any of the things in persistent storage. You would use tails like it is normally used. Amnesiastic, it doesn't remember anything that you've plugged. If you go to a website, you take this out, you put it back in, you try to go back to that website, there's no history of you going to that website, right? Because again, nothing gets saved onto the hard drive of the computer, so when you plug it out, everything's forgotten, you plug it back in, then only. But if you were to go to persistent storage, now, for all of the, I'm just going to give you the password, for all of the sovereign keys, the password is EasySats. That's literally one word, easy, all every word capitalized, the first letter, so it's EasySats, my company name, and Bitcoin. That's as easy as it is. Now, why would I tell you the password? Because, I mean, if you now were able to get a hold of this one, and it's his, then you could get in, right? So I shouldn't give you the password. But we were smart enough to use Tails because it allows you to change the password for your persistent storage. So once you get it from us, you put in that password once, and then you change the password. We'll show you how to do that as well, because again, it's your sovereign key, not ours. It's not supposed to be utilized by everybody. So once you're here, one more thing, for those of you that are developers, those of you that like to use terminal, what you would do is once you're at this stage of already putting in your password, there's a little plus button at the bottom. What this allows you to do is to add an administrative password. Without that administrative password, you cannot install things on Tails via command line. It's going to ask you for an administrative password that you don't have. So you won't be able to do that. So that is more for people that enjoy installing other things on their Tails and want to go further via command line. But I'm going to leave that out for now. I just use a normal password for that, something like Bitcoin or, you know, my name or whatever, because it's mine. But yeah, so now we're going to start up. So with a pruned node, and again, it's a weird conversation that people normally have. They're like, why would I use a pruned node instead of a fully archival node, right? Because you want to have all of the history of the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, the thing is, a pruned node does have the history. It has all the headers. It doesn't have every single transaction on your sovereign key. But again, that would, at current, that's what, 700, 800 and something gigabytes for the entire Bitcoin blockchain at current. So this is a 256 gigabyte drive. There's no way we can put a full archival node on. The beauty of this is not everybody needs a full archival node. I know it sounds weird for a Bitcoiner to say. I'm not saying you don't need a node. I'm saying not everybody needs a fully archival node. Why would you need a fully archival node? Well, it depends on the type of wallets that you're also trying to connect to that node. Many wallets would use something like ElectRS. It helps with your privacy as well. Instead of you connecting directly to your Bitcoin pruned node, you connect to your Bitcoin pruned node via ElectRS, which also does its own index. Problem here is ElectRS also takes like another 1 gig of RAM just in its startup, and I think it takes another like how many gigs is that? 300 maybe? Gigs again additional. So now you're adding on more and more storage for somebody to utilize something that isn't really all that necessary. So as you see, Bitcoin Core's trying to start up here, but I do not have what's the internet details for this place again? Is it, there we go. 1 second, please, if you guys don't mind. Can you see, it's not going on the screen. Why? Yeah, it's connected. I can see my, but I. Oh, is it doing extended? How do I? Is it? There is it not F8? It's F8 on this one. Yeah, F8. There we go. Hey, love it. Now where's my mouse? No, let's come down. There we go. Mirror. It's not working. There we go. Still, it's extending. It's not mirroring it properly. Okay, I'll just quickly connect to the internet and then do it again. Just quickly. Wi-Fi. It's always them, right? It's always them. What's the password? At workshop 17WS. Okay, why is this already trying? Can I connect, please? Yeah, if you could, please. All right, awesome. Just say yes. I agree with you. Okay, so with a pruned node, literally what you can do is you can still utilize a pruned node in the same way of connecting something like a Sparrow wallet to it. Because what Sparrow does is it asks you, do you want to use a public node, right? Do you want to use a personal node that you have access to? You put in the details. I'll show you when we open Sparrow. Or do you want to use ElectRS, another node that is connected by default basically via Tor network? Now, the thing of doing too many things or putting together too many things with the Tor network is Tor is also not the stablest connection all the time. You know, you get like what we like to call Tor weather, where just intermittently Tor won't really function for like 5 minutes and then it will be back up. So now if you're using Tor off of your sovereign key, right? Sparrow Wallet itself comes with its own Tor client embedded in it, and then you're also adding another Tor client on top of that being your ElectRS that you're connecting to. Instead of the pruned node on your sovereign key, you're now introducing 3 different Tor touches. So if Tor goes down, you need to wait for each of those to come back up. It gives you, it's not that it's bad, it's just not what you would really want. Okay, it's on. Awesome. You see how awesome it is to have other technical people here? More technical than me. I love it. So yeah, just F8. It should 8 and then enter. I think it is. It's just one of those. Dial is weird. Also, because my computer's dying.
For traveling, that is absolutely fantastic because my node is at home in Scotland, and because I've only got a 1 terabyte the hard plug-in hard drive, it's kept on falling over, and it has fallen over, and I can't access it. But to have something that I can, so I'm having to travel with the Bitcoin that I want preloaded just on my phone, and I don't really like it, and I want to be able to send stuff into cold storage, but I can't because I can't access my node, and I don't have, so that I could do that with, I could send stuff through my own node to my own hard storage just using that anywhere I was in the world.
The short answer to that is yes, but the correct answer is you could do this in many different ways. So remember, have you ever used Sparrow Wallet before? Okay, so when you create a new Sparrow Wallet, it gives you what's called an XPub, right? Now, what you can do is you can export that XPub to something like your Blue Wallet on your phone, and then it becomes a watch-only wallet. So you never actually have to again plug this in unless you want to spend from there. You literally can always deposit into, so you literally just, I have it for all of my nieces. So on my, not this one that I have here, but like at my sovereign key that I actually utilize at home, all 4 of my nieces I have wallets for, right? I took all the XPubs, I threw them onto Blue Wallet. So now I just, when it's anybody's birthday, I pay all of them. And then when they turn 21, I just give them their keys. I never actually have to touch my sovereign key again for them to be able to utilize their Bitcoin. But, so, yes, sir. Correct. And remember that the way that Tor works, what's my IP address? Right? So that's why we wanted to use Tails. We didn't just want to use a normal Linux or normal Debian instance. We wanted to use something that gives you that additional layer of privacy. Yes, sir.
Question about user agents in the browser. So if I browse somewhere, does the user agent string contain anything to tell the server I'm connecting to that I'm actually using Tails? So it's not a Tails question.
That's yeah. It's so the weird way that Tor also works, and I find it also kind of weird. So everybody looks like they have the same IP address. You're basically hiding in a crowd of everybody with the same number. So it's. I wouldn't say that. Look, I'll never say there's no way to do something. I would say it would be extremely difficult, and take a real concerted effort to try and get that done. And I won't lie to you. I would say that almost every government in the world is probably trying to do exactly that. Yes, sir.
The German government, together with the Dutch government, managed to do it for like a child porn ring.
See?
But it was like a multi-year investigation. And
Yeah.
they had like a lot of internal notes of the core network that they managed to.
To get a hold of, yeah.
So that's like if you have your own transactions, very unlikely that you'll have like a multi-year government.
Yeah.
It's very.
But so that's why I'm saying I'm not a person that ever says never. It can never. No, it could happen. We just haven't seen it yet, and it can. And again, that's how you. Because remember, with Tor, there's entry and exit nodes. If the governments have captured those entry and exit nodes, bro, I can see you entering and exiting. I know it's you. But if you're already in and they don't have access to the entry and exit nodes, you look like a bunch of the same person just walking around. Yeah, please, no. Yeah, so again, like this is something that you're using to be private, not to use for normal ClearNet stuff. Remember, when you open, like from here, I'm just waiting. So you see, once you connect to Tor, it literally asks you start Tor browser. It doesn't ask you start Gmail, or Gmail's not even on here, right? Unless you install Gmail on here, it's not there. Firefox isn't on here. What's on here right now is Tor browser. There is one ClearNet browser, but don't look for it. Just you don't need to get privacy to then mess up the privacy, right? Like if you're gonna do something private, you're gonna use this for your Bitcoin, use it for your Bitcoin. If you wanna go and do your Gmail and all that, go use another laptop. Don't conflate the two. Don't use them all together. Does that make sense? Awesome. I love having you two guys there. It's like, it's like second brains. Yes, sir.
Quick one about the user agent is that the Tor browser uses the same user agent and tries to be as generic as possible.
Yeah.
So it's not specific to your instance. It's as similar to a normal anyone Firefox or whatever. It's not identifying.
So same thing again. So all user agent streams turn out to just look the same.
Yeah, we all just look like it's a desert, or not a desert, it's like a forest, and we're all in the same forest with the same tree. So this is literally what happens when, this is your Bitcoin prune node. This is Bitcoin core, right? This is what it actually looks like as it's syncing to the chain. Like I tried to get it as, I was doing this till I was asleep and it was still doing this, but it finished in a couple of hours. Like as you can see, we're at Friday 24th at 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. So it's still trying to catch up. When people buy these, there's two options. You can get this totally unsynced. You do it all by yourself. It will come with Sparrow Wallet, but nothing will be synced. Or we sell it to you above 95% synced. Because again, not everybody wants to wait 2-3 weeks continuously plugging in and then, okay, I can't do it now, and then again. And it takes a while for it to then catch up, because it's not an always-on node. Yes, sir.
So, if you started using a sovereign key, how often, and you don't need to access your wallet very often, how often should you update it to keep the prune node reasonably synced, like once a week, once a month?
So there's a couple of things that go into that. The speed with which you can do an IDB also depends on things like what is the read and write speed of the device you're using. So what's the read and write speed of this? What is the RAM on the computer that you're plugging your sovereign key into? Like this is an 8 gig RAM. It sucks. It's like from 2015. This is not good. It's really slow. If I were to be able to plug this into my MacBook, I would go a lot faster, you know? So it all depends on what hardware you're using in conjunction with it. But to the shortest answer for you, I plug mine in once a day. Especially if I've reached chain, I'll just go in, I'll do something on my sovereign key, plug it in, maybe walk around, do something else, just so that it can stay updated. Now again, you have to remember that you don't actually have to use the pruned node on here. Like you have a node that's sitting somewhere. You could say, okay, I'm going to take my Sparrow wallet and I'm going to attach it to the node I have at home. Man, this is so weird that I can't see the top of the screen. Okay, let's just do it this way. Sparrow. So I wanted to show you guys actually one of our version. This is version 0.01 of the sovereign key. It only comes with the pruned node. It comes with Sparrow wallet. We also did say that instead of asking for permission, we're going to ask for forgiveness. So we put a bunch of Bitcoin books on the sovereign key. And why did we do that? The reason I put Bitcoin books on the sovereign key was if I were to go to a kid and say, hey, you should think about Bitcoin, it's going to change your life, go and study it. Here's a sovereign key, you can utilize it, you know, what does the kid know about using Bitcoin? Like, what is Bitcoin? You just said a word to me and told me it's going to change my life. You've given me no resources to follow. So what we did is we put the Bitcoin standard on. So you would literally go into persistent, because remember it's persistent storage. So you go into your persistent drive, you go into your easy knowledge drive, easy books, and there you go. You've got Bitcoin for businesses, you've got the Bitcoin standard, you've got Joseph Tetek's book, Bitcoin Separation of Money and State. You've got the simplest Bitcoin book ever written by Kisa. All of these people I actually did ask, except for Jonathan Beer. I couldn't find him. And Codex 32 is for free. Andreas didn't answer my message, so I just put his book on. I mean, if you're not going to answer, bro, it's going up there. But yeah, Jonathan Beer, The Block Size War, I think everybody should have a read of just to understand why everything works the way it does in Bitcoin. And of course, the simplest Bitcoin book, it's version 2. It also comes with a Noster section, like a whole section on Noster. So that's why I was like, yes, it's free. All of these books that are there right now are free books. You can get them all for free. And Cypherdin was anyway like, pirate my shit. So I was like, okay, I'll pirate your shit. What we also did is we added for those, again, this is for kids, not just for Bitcoiners. So we added the Tuttle Twins video on like what is Bitcoin, why Bitcoin. That whole episode is there, that first episode they put out, as well as a presentation that I really enjoyed going through, which is a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation for kids. So it talks about what is inflation, what, like historical money, trade, barter trades, all of that within a presentation style that the children could go through or you could teach them. So again, that's why we call this EasySats Edu. There are more going to come, but as I said, it's all about as we find them, we go through them, and then we say, okay, with this knowledge, is this something that we think a grade 9 or grade 10 would be able to take this device and then go home away from anybody else and then gain that knowledge that they need to be able to utilize their tools. Now, just to show you, it's still syncing, so it's not going to create the wallet, but let's try. So you say new wallet. Let's just call it that. And as you see, it's probably not going to work because this hasn't actually synced yet. But, okay, you would be able to create exactly the same way you would use Sparrow Wallet. I don't know how many of you were here for Craig's talk. You know, if he actually did did he do a presentation of Sparrow? Okay, all right. What we would have, okay, got you. All right, so the awesome thing about Sparrow Wallet is it's as simple or as complex as you want it to be, right? It can be for beginner friendly or it can be really advanced. So you can just do a normal single signature. Let me just move this way because I can see it. You can do a normal single signature, you can do multi-sigs, and you can literally change the script type if you know what you're doing. Please don't just change the script tab because you want to be, because it's not just going to work everywhere, right? But what I wanted to show you, it's not going to let me right now, but if I said new imported and use the 12. So all of this, Cole has a very amazing 15-minute video, 20-minute video on how to use the Sparrow wallet. So if you ever really want to get a quick understanding of how to utilize it, Cole is here, by the way. But what you can do is you can go to his YouTube channel. It's literally a 50 to 20-minute video. And he explains it very well. So Cole is young. He's like in his late 20s or early 20s, mid 20s. And he's like 21, 22. So for him, he's like, guys, BTC sessions videos are an hour long. No 21-year-olds watching that, right? We don't have time. TikTok or like around that time frame, we can do that. So that's why he started making those videos. But damn it, I won't be able to confirm the backup now because it's going to ask me to write it all in. But you would literally create and why I'm telling you to create it here and not to import from another place is the way that Sparrow Wallet works is it's from the genesis of the node that it is connected to. So if you're using a pruned node that has just finished syncing and then you create your new wallet, it's not able to import a wallet from 3 years ago. It doesn't have that capability because when did you start your node? You didn't spin up this node. Remember, when you did your first Sparrow wallet, you connected it to a node that has a history. Right? Now you're trying to reconnect it to something else that started after that. So it's not the best practice to use. That's why I always tell people, if you're going to use the Sparrow, the sovereign key, use the sovereign key. Don't try to bring other things in. What you can do, though, is plug your hardware device in and use that. That's a totally different story. You're not creating the wallet on here. Right? Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. Questions, gentlemen? No? Statements? I'm looking at you too. Yes, sir. Awesome. Correct. No, not anymore. So how it works is I'm actually on Tails 611 right now. Beginning of this week, Monday, is when 611 came out. And it's just a pop-up that comes here and it's like, please update. And then once you hit update, it starts downloading the whole new one and it's like, please restart to effect your changes. And so it's now, it was so irritating. I remember that. But no, Tails hasn't, I think for the last 3 or 4 updates, you've been able to just normally update like you would with any other program. You don't have to reflash it from scratch. Yeah, I think, from 6.0. So it was a big change. And I think that broke a lot of people's systems and what they were doing on Tails as well. But luckily, I only released this after 6.0. So we're good. So you can update that as well as, it's a good question that you just asked, by the way. Let me just quickly go to Bales. Oh, come on. There we go. Bales. Okay, Bales. Okay, so I just want to show you the great thing about working with real developers, like guys that build programs and literally program these things, is you can ask them to help you. Right? So when I started speaking to Ben Westgate, the guy that created Bales, what he said was he's never used Sparrow before. It's like, I don't know what the hell Sparrow is. Why would I put that on Bales? And I'm like, I've used Sparrow for years now. I love this program. If you don't put it on Bales, I'm going to go with somebody else's implementation of how to put Bitcoin on Tails. And there's a lot of them. It's not only Bales, there's one. But what I do enjoy about it is if you were to go to settings, right, and you just want to know, is there an update to Sparrow? Is there an update to Bitcoin Core? Is there an update to Bales? You literally one-click it and it updates. It runs the script like you would normally. Okay, it's not going to do it now because this is open. I should close this. You see, it's literally opening the terminal and then running the update script. Right? So you don't have to go in and physically go into terminal, because a lot of people don't like using terminal. But if you wanted to, you could just open terminal and do this. You do not have to use any of the buttons. It's literally there to help make it easier for people to be like, if there's no update, there's no update. You see, look, there's no, I don't even think there's an update for Sparrow right now. Just close these up. Yeah, I think I should be on 2.0. 2.0 was the last one that I didn't. I know I updated it to 2.0. So it's just going to keep looking through. But again, you could do those. Everything that you need to do, and that's why it's not totally plug and play. But if you've ran a Bitcoin node before, you'll be able to understand what to do with your sovereign key. If you haven't, you do not have to use any of these things. So what I always tell kids is, hey, you have a project to do. You can start the project at home, at school, with your sovereign key, plugged in at the computer lab. You can take your sovereign key, go to your friend's house, your grandmother's house, your auntie's house, wherever you're going to go. Go plug it in on a computer there and continue. Right? You don't have to worry about, I left my charger at home, or I don't have an HDMI cable, or whatever. You just go and you can actually go plug this into another computer and continue what you were doing, whether it's a Word document, whether it's an Excel sheet. What I do love about Tails, and this is something that I was hoping I'd get the time. Wow. I still have another job. So this is literally all your applications. So what Sovereign Key or what Tails does is, when you think about Excel, it's LibreOffice stuff. So all of these are free and open source tools that have, like, Office tools that are out there. You don't have to use Microsoft. Everything that is on here, if you make music, if you do audio editing, Audacity is already here, free and open source, right? You can already just open Audacity, throw your MP3 files in there or your WAV files, and you can start cutting it up. If you're a podcaster, you can use Audacity as well. Bracero nobody will use, because this is how you actually write CDs, and nobody's normally going to use that anymore. But everything that, and this is why we also wanted to really use Tails, was all of the tools that come installed with it are already free and open source. I just want to see where the password manager is now. 1 second. I just want to be able to show you that for a reason. Utilities. Okay. Yeah, but the thing is, it won't let me go to the top. It's literally a drop-down menu, but it won't let me. So you got KeyPass that is already, and that comes with Tails. That's not something that we installed, right? So KeyPass is like your one password. You can literally generate your own passwords and store them all on your sovereign key. And then when you want to utilize your passwords for any of your, whatever you're logging into, instead of using something like Bitwarden, you would use KeyPass. So you already have a lot of these things on, and that's not something that we as sovereign key put on. It's the reason we use Tails. They came with these things already and wouldn't need you to have to go and update and download all of them. Okay? You also have something like a metadata cleaner on here. So before you share pictures, you can literally wipe every bit of information from it. So this is why we wanted to create the sovereign key, was literally to give you sovereignty, like over your own data, over your own interactions with Bitcoin, and a mobile-friendly solution on that. Please ask me questions. Yes, sir. Oh, that's the beauty of it. So Tails has this thing called Tails Cloner. Right? Right there. And then what you do is you'll just click on Tails Cloner. And it opens up and asks you to put in another USB and clone it over. So everything that you have, you don't have to even clone your persistent storage. You could only, if you wanted to, I could just clone Tails. I can literally just say, clone the current Tails, not clone the current persistent storage. And it will just take Tails over. Right? So it's literally one click. What password would you want for persistent storage if you're going to have persistent storage? And you just wait for it to finish and then unplug. And you've backed it up to another USB. So you can literally, you can buy one sovereign key from us and then make 10 others for yourself if you wanted to. But always remember, like, the read and write speeds of your USBs that you're going to move this over to are going to matter when you want to do your IDB on that one. So please don't, I did it on a 32 gigabyte, like, Creecox, like, weird, really cheap. Don't do that. It's not fun to try and do an IDB on that. I never got it done. So does that answer your question? Awesome. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Nothing? Yes.
As well as the node updating itself, syncing every time you plug it in.
Yes.
All of it will automatically check for updates on any of the other things that you have.
No. So the way that Tails does this is for firstly, most of these free and open source things haven't, I don't think LibreOffice has been updated in like, I don't know how many years. But when you update, when you do the Tails update itself, a lot of the things are updated within that update. So it's like most operating systems. It will literally tell you if you need an update when you open some of these programs. I would always say, well, I do it. I'm always going to run sudo apt upgrade and sudo apt update at any time I can, just to see if any of my programs on my computer can be upgraded. We are busy trying to write a bash script for that. Okay, the bash script's written. I just can't figure out how to get the logo that I want in the right dimensions, so you can just click on it. Because I can, like, if I shut this down now and put in one of the testers, version 0.11 comes with a seed signer emulator. So you can learn how to utilize a seed signer before you actually go build one. And then it also comes with VS Codium for those people that are programmers but don't want to use VS Code. So we're trying to keep everything as much free and open source as we can on this device that you can also go in and utilize again. It's just, yeah, we're having a bit of problem with that logo thing. And I don't want to continuously just be in there running a bash script in front of people. So, yeah. Does that answer your question? Okay, awesome, awesome. All right, well, we're almost at the end of the presentation. There is a couple of more things. All right, so yeah, just one or more, two more points. So this is the packaging that it comes in. Your sovereign key literally comes in here. It comes with a couple of instructions, mostly in like a QR code, and you scan it. It's going to take you to, there's two QR codes. One takes you to Bitcoin educational knowledge. Just more books and stuff that you could utilize. And then the other one is literally an instruction manual on how to utilize like your pruned node, your Sparrow wallet, just to get you that type of information. Now, why does the packaging look like this? It's a puzzle. This is a 3D puzzle that you literally can utilize to close and lock your, just, again, Bitcoiners like cool things. And if I just put it in a small box for you, you would have been like, this is rubbish. So we got Max that was here earlier that you've seen as working with all of the volunteers. Max actually 3D prints a lot of stuff. So like the Bitcoin accepted year sticker that's down there, that's Max's printing. These are Max's printables. And yeah, that's literally what we do with the sovereign key. So the overall purpose of this thing is to make sure that, hey, firstly, I don't need a computer. Oh, please don't don't just pull out your sovereign key. Please shut the computer down. I'm not saying anything will happen, but I don't think it's ever a good idea just to pull out. I used to do it all the time. I was like, let's pull it out. And then I messed up one of my USBs, so I'm not doing that anymore. So please don't do that. Please, any other questions you guys have or any clarity that you'd like, please do ask me. Otherwise, that is, yes, sorry. Who was first? Okay.
Just clarify the migration process if you're already using Sparrow Wallet on a regular laptop and you've got wallet software saved on that laptop. Just the migration process.
Awesome. So for me, the migration process is don't. Do not migrate from the computer onto your sovereign key. I would say create a new wallet on your sovereign key, and whatever you want to move to your sovereign key, do that. I would not advise you to try moving a wallet from an old computer onto a brand new sovereign key. It's just something I would not advise you to do. Oh, you mean your hardware wallet? Not, I thought you were saying if you had Sparrow on another computer. Oh no, that you can use with you can literally just plug that in here. It will, because again, you have Sparrow on here. It's going to say if you plug in a hardware wallet, you can utilize it the same way you would with any other Sparrow wallet. Remember, the computer doesn't think that there's a USB plugged in. It thinks it is Tails. It has no clue that that thing is there. It really does think it is it. So that is also the other part. So you're literally using a computer with Sparrow on it, and you're just trying to utilize a hardware wallet from one instance of that to another instance of that. Your hardware wallet and those 12 or 24 words that you have from that hardware wallet has nothing to do with which instance of Tails you're using. I mean, of Sparrow wallet you're using. When you create a wallet here, yes, the same way it does on your computer when you normally do it, it still has that same way of saving it for you. It's exactly the way that you know how to utilize it already. It's just that we're making it mobile in a small form factor for you, along with some additional things. Awesome. Okay, yes, sir. Yes.
One, cost, and the other one is what are your plans for engaging schools to actually get this into the hands of kids?
Okay, awesome. So for question one, these, we're trying to bring the cost down. Again, so we get these you can't even buy in South Africa. This specific USB. So this is an SSD 256 USB. So these ones you can't, I've tried to get them in SA, you can't. I had to import these from China. It's the only place I could find them. And we're trying to bring the cost down, but it's roughly between 2,500 and 3,000 Rand right now for everything. Like you getting it full packaged, everything. As I said, we are trying to bring down the pricing, but that, as you know, negotiations with China and all of that happens. I'm looking to try and bring it as close to 2,000 Rand as I can, because I want the sovereign key to be a fraction of what you're going to pay for a computer or a new laptop. New laptops nowadays are 10,000 and above. So if we can do 2,000, that means you can buy 5 of these for the price of 1 laptop, sorry. And then you'd then, of course, be able to say, well, I could have given 1 laptop, but now I give 5 kids the ability to use computers, right? So that's what we're looking for here. And then as far as your second question, so I'm not from here, I'm from Namibia. But in Namibia, I've been engaging with a couple of schools. One of them is a private school in the Kasi, right? That literally is where we run the Treasure Academy sessions and stuff as well. So they're very keen, very, very keen on it. I am talking with people in the Ministry of Education and Higher Learning in Namibia to also try and get that out there. Recently, in December, EasySats and one of the biggest IT companies in Namibia, I don't know if I should mention this, but this is on live stream. I'm not mentioning the company's name. We've come to an agreement on assisting each other in like a cooperative to make sure that Bitcoin knowledge, as well as just devices like this, are pushed more into the Namibian ecosystem as solutions for problems that are already standing. Right? So we're not trying to go and create new problems and solve them. The problems are there. The question is, how do we collaborate to solve them in the most beneficial way for the people we're trying to assist? And that's why I'm hoping we will be able to bring these also further down as in cost. I hope those answers your questions. Awesome. Yes, sir. Okay, so for me, it was weird because, again, it's 256 gigabyte. I was like, let's play a bit with it. I think I set it originally to 25 or 40 gigs. Normally it's 40 to 45. Yeah, I think it was 45 that I used. Correct. And this is the thing. So if we could run Bitcoin knots in like a pruned version, I might actually try that. Do you know if we can do that? It's just the mempool that's different, that's true. So what he's saying right now is, so the UTXO set is so freaking large that is why your 8 gigabyte Raspberry Pi for most people is a bit of a problem. I don't know how Raspberry Blitz was so able to do it, because everybody else is struggling. Yeah, but that's what most of them are doing. Most of these nodes, like Umbro, then they're all keeping it. No, I'm not saying it's with the RAM. I'm saying like the UTXO set is just so big now that it's becoming it's becoming a problem for some nodes. I don't know what they're doing with the software, but they can't do it. They can't handle it at all anymore. Yeah, the 4B, Raspberry 5s I'm hearing are going to come out of. There we go. I'm not really changing that down or up. I'm leaving it at the base because it is the default recommended one. Again, we could change it, and this is what I'm telling people. I can sell it to you completely bare. Like the Bitcoin prune node is there, but you'll have to then configure everything and all that. Sparrow will still be there, but most people don't want to go through that. So for technical guys like you, yes, of course. I'll probably just give you all the files and be like, yo, do it yourself if you really want to do it. Yeah. Yeah, there's everything else on there is just space for you to utilize at your own whim. Does that answer your question, or did you already answer your own question, actually? Okay, awesome. No, thank you guys very much for your time. And yeah, if that's all, no other questions, you guys sure? Yes. How many are for sale now? I wasn't actually planning to sell any right now. So I have a Namibian distributor. I mean, a South African distributor. My co-host, Ricky, he's the guy that I actually, because disbursement here just makes more sense if you have a South African to be able to do it than trying to do it from Namibia out to South Africa. So if you do want to buy one here, I would say get in touch with Ricky. If you want to buy one here right now, I could sell it to you, but I would rather that you get the full package, you know, like with the little printouts and stuff in there. But if you just want it like that, yeah, we can chat afterwards, I guess. Yes, sir. Oh, so we do have a North America. That was the craziest thing. So there were 5 that were already released, pre-releases. They didn't come with, well, actually, it came exactly as this one is. But the USBs were, left things to be desired. I'd say that much. But people wanted it. So we released 5 of them. One guy in North America bought one. He paid more for the shipping than he paid for the sovereign key. But he wanted the sovereign key. So he paid it. And then when he got it, he forgot the password, wiped it and put new tails on, and now it's got no prune node or anything, so I had to send him a second one, which he also paid for, so that's fine. But yeah, so it's not that they're not saleable right now. I can sell them. It's just if you don't want to get the full package and you're cool with going with it as is, we can talk after. But yeah, that's so I am working on. The thing is that distributor just went to South America with his wife for like the next year, and then they want to still do the distribution. So I'm looking if I can find anybody else in Canada, because he was in Canada, to be able to do it, and then be another distributor from that side for the people that are that side for it. Awesome. Anybody at the back got questions? You guys are good? All right. So just to summarize before we end, the sovereign key is literally here so that you don't have to walk around with this anymore, right? You can walk around with this. And any computer that you can find that is not an M1 Mac and above, you can plug this into, you can boot from it, and you can utilize it as your own computer when you switch it off. There's Cole. For anybody that's looking for Cole, that's the guy that does the videos that are really nice and short. Speak to Cole. He'll definitely help you out with any of those things. But yeah, so thank you very much. And I don't have anything else to say if you guys don't have any questions. Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. I was supposed to release it like 2 years ago, but as all Bitcoiners, we get enamored with other stuff. Like, I was trying to learn more programming stuff, and yeah, so I kind of forgot about it. So I'm happy that you guys enjoy it. I'm looking forward to seeing people utilize it. It is like watching a child walk. When I saw Ricky using it, and I'm like, oh, somebody else is using the sovereign key, and it's not me. Oh, this is so cool. And then he just started doing all of his business through it as well, because he does a lot of, utilizations of things like Jade wallets to help people trade through Liquid and everything. But yeah, so it is in production. It is working. People are utilizing it. But as I said, please do not try and bring from old to new. Of course, your hardware wallets will work. I'm just saying, don't shift software wallets, if we can say that. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and have a brilliant day. I will see you at the main stage.